This video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. Retail price for manga averages out around $13, the lower end being $10 and the higher end being $24, sometimes going all the way up to like $50. However, one thing to note, this is in stock and in print manga. However, there is a deep end to this pool. In today's video, we are going where few weebs have dared gone before, in search of the big sales, the ones that we only hear of online. And for newer collectors, introduce them to the dark side of this hobby. If you're new around here, subscribe for more videos and go ahead and give this video a like for manga collecting. So hide your wallet, hide your collection, and let's go ahead and jump on into today's video. So I had my team throw together a list of listings from eBay and Mercari. We're gonna dive into them together. I'll give my thoughts, my reactions. It's gonna be some very expensive stuff I'm already aware of. And then at the end of the video, I'm gonna take you guys shopping for series that I'm looking for that are very much on the expensive side, and yeah, we'll see what the damage will look like together. The first one up, this is, okay, already on the first one, there's a note here that says, this is coming out of my community. Good Lord, we are a bunch of degenerates. This was a listing sold for 5-star stories, volumes 1 to 26, sold at $2,500. $2,500! This is one of those like off the beaten trail mech series coming out of the late 80s and is rare because it really wasn't that popular when it was first coming out, so there just wasn't that much stock in the market to begin with. Basically meaning it wasn't printed widely, like at all. Therefore, making all of the volumes that much more rare. And this is a complete listing from volumes 1 to 26, which is, I believe, everything that's been translated in English. I actually have a couple volumes of 5-star stories. In fact, well, you know what? Hello, I'm recording. Let me just show you. Hold on, let me just show you. Okay, so this is a volume of 5-star stories. I have a couple volumes. They mean a lot to me. I obviously don't own it in its entirety, but these were actually sent to me by someone in the community and a dear friend of mine. So yeah, I keep them. I treasure them. But this is 5-star stories, and this is, $2,500. That's a lot of money for it in its entirety. Obviously, this is a really high price tag, but I'm sure for the collector that owns this, it's really cool to have in your collection. Okay, so we've obviously hit the ground running with today's video with a very high price point. But before we go any further, there are some terms that I think some of the newer people coming on into the community should be made aware of. Now, you will see a few of these terms thrown around online, and I just want to make sure that everyone is on the same page here, especially for the newer folks coming on in to the community. First one up is OOP. This stands for out of print. Next is OOS. This one, as you may have guessed, stands for out of stock. It's a good idea to check if a series is still in print, just OOS, when shopping. Sometimes scalpers hit, like a certain series, kind of like Chainsaw Man during the pandemic, which is still in print, but just out of stock, therefore making it harder to get, but it will come back in stock soon or eventually. Okay, now that we have all that covered, let's go ahead and move on. Now, a lot of you might not be aware, but shoujo manga can get it can get real expensive. And we'll see a couple of those examples throughout today's video. Right now, we're going to talk about a shoujo classic, which is Boys Over Flowers. This was a longer running shoujo series put out by Shoujo Beat. And of course, the whole thing is OOP, or out of print. So it was a very popular shoujo series and it's out of print. That is like a one-way ticket for driving the price up. This particular listing was for $1,700, $1,700.
Is it just me or is it getting a little hot in here?
However, I would say it would be so cool to have this in my own collection, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. Next is one that's really interesting that you might not expect, but it's one I actually own. I was shocked to see this make the list, but it's the Steins Gate Barnes & Noble exclusive hardcover edition. Udon was kind enough to send me Steins Gate in both the paperback and hardcover edition when it first came out. Now, I find myself reading manga in bed a lot these days, so I tend to gravitate towards reading manga in paperback as that's just more comfortable to read laying down sometimes. So this is virtually unopened and brand new, and a brand new copy is going for just under $220. Now, like I mentioned before, you could probably find this for a lower price, but this listing is for $219. Maybe I should let this one go. Hey, does anyone want the hardcover? Special editions if you can, it always makes sense to pre-order them. Also noticing that for the past, let's say a year and a half, even 2 years, the meta in the manga collecting community, if you really want to make sure you get your hands on some manga that is coming out, pre-ordering is like the best way possible to do so. Moving on over next is the Bleach Jet art book. There's a lot of spotlight on Bleach right now, especially with the return of the anime, but it's a very, very popular series to begin with. Now, this incredibly rare Bleach art book was only printed in Japan. There's literally no mention of it ever going to be reprinted. So of course, this makes this for one heck of a rare item. I believe it was only sold as like a companion to some sort of special set when you bought Burn the Witch Volume 1 back in the day. So couple all of this together, it's a limited run, only printed in Japan. It's already rare. Yeah, this is going to be expensive. And for one singular art book, it's around $600 for just one art book. Now, I like Bleach, but hear me. Moving right along, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you may have heard me recommend a few times Solanin by Inyo Asano, but you might not have known that Solanin actually has an epilogue. It's expensive. This is a short epilogue that was an exclusive at a 2018 anime convention. And then whatever limited stock that they had afterwards was like sold on Twitter or given away on Twitter. It had something to do with Twitter. This is one of those situations where we have like a really well-known mangaka where a lot of people just want to get all of his works, all of Inyo Asano's works. But this is also an amazing story with an extreme limited run. Could have only gotten it at a convention. It's exclusive. Yeah, this is going to definitely drive the price up. But if one were to be an astute Inyo Asano manga collector, this particular listing went for $275. Now, I don't know the page count for this short little epilogue, but if someone has that out there in the comments section, what would be the math for price per page for this dang thing? Whew, okay, I'm just checking in with you guys. We've been going at this for a second. Did you get something to drink? Did you get any snacks? Okay. Check this out. Now, if you've watched any amount of YouTube, you probably heard of Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. So the story goes, they heard that I was going to Japan this year, so they sent me some Japanese snacks to start pre-gaming before my trip. Wait, what's this? Guys, just go ahead and call me Boogie. Mr. Snacks is my father. Now, both of these boxes are filled with curated snacks directly from Japan to me, or well, to us. I mean, you know what I mean. The Tokyo Treat box this month is My Snack and Valentine's, and the Sakura Co box is Valentine's Bliss. I think these would make for such a cute date idea. I don't know, maybe go to the park, bring these boxes, try some snacks, maybe go buy each other some manga, read at the park. I don't know, this seems so cute. Now, in the Tokyo Treat box, I'm really excited to try the spicy ramen, but I'm also really stoked on the Lucky Daifuku Kit Kats. Now, Sakura Co is for a bit more of a refined palette. They even include kitchen hardware in every month's delivery. This month is a cute little soup bowl. This one, of course, is going to steal my heart because it has chocolate mochi in this month's delivery. Each box has a handy booklet that serves as a guide to take you through each and every one of these snacks and also offers some helpful information, including allergy information. And right now you can get $5 off of your first box while at checkout using code Boogie. Of course, links for all of this will be down below, and thank you to Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co for sponsoring today's video. And now back to the manga. Okay, welcome back, and quickly moving right along, let's make a quick pit stop over to Mercari. What you're looking at now is a complete sold set for Knights of the Zodiac for $1,600. That's so much money! Now, I'll be honest with you guys, Knights of the Zodiac, that's a little outside of my realm of knowledge, but I believe this series also goes by the name of like Saint Seiya. I believe that's what this series is. What I do know is that this is a very beloved series within the manga community. Now, a good handful of these volumes that make up the complete set, those are out of print, so it's going to make a full set just worth that much more. So with this amount of volumes, I'm not really surprised to see this price touch like $1,600, maybe more, maybe less, somewhere around there. I actually don't know too much about this series. It's something that I probably should look into. This next series is one that at the end of the video where we go shopping for things that I'm looking for, this is actually on that list, but we're looking at it now. Oof. It's even more expensive than I thought it was gonna be. Now, if you're someone like me who's a fan of One Piece, Boa Hancock, best girl, I said what I said. If you didn't know, allow me to introduce you to yet another rabbit hole of this series, which are the foil volumes. I actually don't know how many there are in total. It might actually only be 23 volumes, so we might be looking at a complete set right here. The gold foil set, volumes 1 to 23. These would look so freaking good in my collection. Oh my God. There's obviously like no reprints on these. There's just not a lot in the market, so they didn't print a whole bunch to begin with, and a ton of people love One Piece, so these are very sought after items on the market, so it's no surprising that we're going to see prices like these. And on top of everything, I have seen just singular volumes from this set go upwards of $100 just for one volume. But while we're on the topic, if you thought One Piece was like the pinnacle of that, allow me to introduce you to volume 1 of Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah, it's $2,800. That's crazy. I don't know if it's going to sell for that much, but that's a listing for $2,800 for one volume. For just one single volume, this is worth more than so many physical collections out there in people's homes. For the die-hard Yu Yu Hakusho fans, I'm sure this really rare item would just, it must mean the world to someone out there. Now, remember when we were talking about expensive shoujo series and I said that would come back around here in the video? Yeah, it's time. I believe this is one of those early to mid 90s stretching into the early 2000s shoujo series. This particular listing went for just under $1,200. To be honest, I love me a good shoujo and josei series. It's probably a genre I should explore more of in 2023. Okay, pause. Is anyone else feeling like desensitized almost to like $50 manga now? It's weird, right? Last but not least is a series that's been recommended to me a few times, which is Umiko. This is definitely a cult classic within the manga community. I believe someone once told me that this was based off of a visual novel, I think. Someone correct me if I'm wrong down below in the comments. I really don't know a lot about Umiko except for that a couple good friends have recommended the series to me. Just stripping it down to the bare bones, I believe it's like a mystery detective series. It's done in a way that has like a flair of individuality, and it's very much its own series and unique in its own way, which lets it stand out and be relevant even to today's standards. And an entire set sold for $2,550. Even singular volumes can sometimes go up for $1,000 in this series. Oh my God, I feel so broke after recording this. Okay, so we've gone over now around 10 series, and I'm now motivated enough. I've built up enough courage. My expectations are low. The series that I'm looking for, which are either out of print or just harder to collect. So let's dive into the few that I'm looking for together, shall we? Okay, we're just gonna go over to eBay and we're just gonna see what the top listings are for the first series we're gonna be looking for, which is Initial D. Yes, I am in the market for Initial D. So we're gonna type in Initial D manga, English, and let's see, maybe we can go to complete. That might be a little better. Okay, already volume 1 without like comparing prices on other websites, really just hunting for a good price. Just the first thing we're seeing, volume 1 is $35. Also important to note that I own a couple volumes of Initial D already. In fact, they really do mean a lot to me because someone from the community actually sent them to me for a PO box opening. If you're watching this video, thank you so much. They're still one of my treasured manga volumes in my manga collection to this day. Now, this also reaffirms things that I've said before in the past. A really great way to go about collecting out of print manga, or just manga that's harder to find in general, is just buying in just a complete set. So you don't have to worry about hunting for specific volumes. However, for someone like myself as like a content creator, I can go out to like stores and vlogs and talk to people and just make content out of hunting each and every single one of these volumes. But the best way to go about doing this is just getting one singular set, one and done. So you don't have to just find individual volumes, so that's just gonna rack up the price. And so if I wanted to buy the complete Initial D series in Japanese, it looks like we have a listing here for volumes 1 to 48 for $212, basically $213. So important to note that, yeah, Initial D never fully got released from Tokyo Pop, so you could only collect so many volumes physically in English, sort of like another series on this list, which is Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. Maybe we're gonna put some brakes on Initial D. We'll see what else we can find of like my little volumes at stores from now on. Okay, so I've typed in Sergeant Frog manga, the complete set, and let's see what we can find. The first one that I see, yeah, this is a lot less than Initial D. This isn't the worst. Okay, volumes 1 to 21, $420. This is something I might viably be able to get this year sometime down the road. So if you haven't subscribed by now, maybe subscribe, help a brother out. Okay, it's time. We're gonna look up GTO manga English complete. Here we go again, seeing some of our vocabulary. OOP, so out of print, 14 Days in Shonen. I only have one volume from 14 Days in Shonen, or 2 volumes of 14 Days in Shonen. So the complete set for that series, the spinoff of GTO, Great Teacher Onizuka, is like $250 already. Right off of a glance, $700. I was under the impression that GTO would be somewhere north of like between 800 and 1,000, depending on what the heck is happening in the market. But if it's as low as 700, right? Because we're desensitized from seeing like thousands of dollars of series from today's video. This is still an incredible amount of money. For instance, if we go right below, here is another set, and I like that you can see all of like the front panels here, the covers, for $1,300. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's more along the lines of what I've heard. Okay, so we are down to our final series of the video that I'm personally shopping for. This is a romance series that I highly recommend watching the anime or reading digitally. It's so freaking adorable, which is My Love Story, the manga. Okay, so we have one here for volumes 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 13. So 10 books in total, going for just under $170. Yeah, this series is going to be a little difficult to collect. All right, we definitely went swimming in the deep end for today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed it and that I can continue this series later on in the year. I think these types of videos are not only just like informative, and we get to see what some of the more rare series are. I'm learning something. I hope you guys are learning something, and it's just a great way to introduce series to you guys as well. It's a win-win all around. If you guys made it this far in the video and you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. Make sure you guys are liking the video. All of that support goes a long way. I love you guys. Also, if you're like mildly interested with the giant wall of manga behind me, my brand new manga collection video where I go over all my box sets, the entire manga series behind me. Yeah, everything. The manga collection video just went up, and of course I'm linking that down below, and you're probably seeing it on screen here. Thank you once again to Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co for sponsoring today's video, and I will see you in the next one. All right, bye.